I'm going to tell you 9 common thinking biases and how to overcome them. Coming up. What is going on? My name is Ramesh. Welcome to another video on Mudgal's Musings, a channel dedicated to increasing your productivity. If this happens to be your first time here, consider subscribing because I keep posting one interesting video every single week to help you increase your productivity. And don't forget to hit that bell button so that you don't miss out anything exciting on this channel and you get notified every time I upload a new video. The first common thinking bias, confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? Confirmation bias is nothing but covering ourselves or surrounding ourselves with people who confirm our point of view, who confirm our way of thinking, who agree with us or we agree with them. So as a result of this, we tend to surround ourselves with people who we are comfortable with and who are going to agree with us and who will say yes to the things that we are saying, who are probably going to toe the line or who are probably going to agree with our ideas or our points of view. So how do we overcome the confirmation bias? By making sure that we listen to different points of view. We are making ourselves comfortable with difference of opinion and we are open to receiving ideas and suggestions from various other sources and a variety of people. The second common thinking bias is the halo effect. In halo effect, we are usually influenced by one strong character of a person or of a personality and we get fixated to that kind of a person. So suppose we have seen somebody and if that person in the first interaction appears to be a haughty person, appears to be an aggressive person, then we probably tend to fix that opinion about himself, and in all of our interactions with that person in future we tend to figure out that we tend to kind of characterize that person as a very aggressive and haughty person. Well, it need not necessarily be so. The simplest way of overcoming the halo effect and not getting in the trap of the halo effect is to understand that people appear at different times in different ways. Depends on their mood, depends on the kind of condition that they are in, probably the time of the day. So several factors matter. We need not necessarily form an opinion about that person for the rest of the life. The third common thinking bias is the Hawthorne Effect. Now, what is Hawthorne Effect? It means that when someone understands and someone knows that they are being observed or they are being seen by others, they actually alter their behavior. So how do we ensure that the Hawthorne effect doesn't come in the way of our day-to-day interactions or that it is not affecting our way of life or our success? The best possible way is to ensure that we observe people discreetly, carefully, and not making them conscious, because the moment they get to know that you're observing them, their behavior is likely to change. The fourth common thinking bias that we come across usually is the negativity bias. Negativity bias is nothing but we keep on focusing on the negative things that have happened to us or the negative things that might happen to us. Instead of thinking about the prospect of even good things and positive things, we tend to focus only on maybe a sad incident that has happened, a sad event that has happened, a failure that has happened, a broken relationship that we have experienced, or a disappointment that we have experienced. So these negative things probably ultimately will lead to self-pity, and we all know that self-pity is not going to get us anywhere. So how do we overcome the negativity bias? Very simple. We have to understand that there are positive things happening in our lives also. There probably have been many disappointments and many failures and many setbacks. That doesn't mean that there is nothing that we can be cheerful about. There is nothing that we can be happy about, right? So let us choose those things which bring happiness to us, which show that there are strengths in us. And when we start slowly focusing on these strengths that we already have, we will be able to overcome the negativity bias. The fifth common thinking bias is the bandwagon effect, or some people even call it the herd mentality. Well, what does it mean? It simply means that we tend to choose things, we tend to believe in things which are being done by the others mostly. Now let us take the example of a vegetable market. Now when there are a lot many vendors in a vegetable market, and you see that there is one particular shop or a couple of shops which are actually crowded with the customers. Now you tend to believe that, oh, there are so many customers over there, so obviously the vegetable which that person or that vendor is selling must be of high quality. So you are drawn towards that crowd, you are drawn towards that particular shop, and you tend to purchase from that shop. Now, need not necessarily, without even realizing that there may be other shops also which may be selling equally good products or equally good vegetable. The best way to overcome the bandwagon effect is always take a step back. Don't jump into the wagon. Don't jump into the fray. Listen to your gut feeling. Think, okay, take a step back and think, okay, fine, let me try this also, maybe that shop also, let me try this option also. Is there any other alternative to what the other people are doing? Can I do it something differently? So by listening to your gut feeling, you will be able to overcome the bandwagon effect. The sixth common thinking bias is the Dunningkruger effect. Now what happens in a Dunningkruger effect is that there are two sets of people. One set of people is the people who are unskilled, who do not actually have the competence, who do not have those skills, but they boast that they are 100% productive, they are 100%, they will deliver the results, and they ooze confidence. So that is one set of people. Now, similarly, there is on the other hand, other set of people is those people who are actually capable, who are actually skilled, but who doubt their own capability and who doubt their own ability to deliver certain things. When you come across these two set of people, always give yourself a chance to think about it. Now, when somebody is claiming that they are 100% perfect, so you need to take a step back and see, okay, the person is saying this. Is it possible? Is it feasible? Is it practical? Is it realistic? And in the case of other set of people who are actually capable and who are actually skilled and who are capable of delivering things, delivering the responsibility, but who do not have the confidence, then obviously you will have to give them a second chance, and probably you will have to give them a little bit of a time, and you may have to do a bit of a counseling as well. The seventh common thinking bias is the IKEA effect. So what is IKEA effect? It means that you place a very important large amount of value to the things that you have created or the ideas that you have generated. You believe that that is the most creative thing, that is the most valuable thing, and that is the most brilliant idea that anyone has thought of, and you obviously hang on to sell that idea. You obviously get hooked onto that idea, and you want to make sure that you want to implement that idea. You want to give a great value to the creation that you have presented. The danger of the IKEA effect is that your obsession with your idea and your creation is so much that you probably at times fail to recognize that it is actually going to lead to a loss. Your idea may not be as original or as effective as you think and you assume and you believe it is. This in turn may lead to a lot of loss. So the best way is to be open to criticism, be open to listen to the others, and if there are people who are able to point some flaws into your idea, into your creation, be open to listen to them, get things corrected, make changes, make improvements, then move ahead. You implement and you move ahead without making any corrections and changes and heeding to any advice, then you are heading towards doom. The eighth common thinking bias is the outcome bias or the outcome effect. Now, what happens in this situation is that we judge our decision based on the outcome that it has generated rather than the process of decision itself, rather than the facts and how scientifically or how systematically and how process driven your decision has been. Let us take the example of a few people whom you must have come across, that every time something is good, the result of something is good, there is a lot of appreciation. And the same person who would have probably given a lot of results, if a couple of times, if the outcome is not effective enough, if the outcome is not as intended, that person appears to be just as an ineffective one, as a failure. Need not necessarily be, because that person would have followed probably the same systematic and cautious approach for making the decisions, which had brought so many good results, so many fantastic outcomes. The ninth and the final common thinking bias that I'm going to talk about is planning fallacy. What happens in planning fallacy is very simple. We tend to underestimate the amount of time it is going to take to complete a particular task. So let's take the example of a project. This in most of the contracts and in most of the project deliveries, this happens, that people always underestimate the actual amount of time that they are capable of doing it, and then they commit. And in most cases, it is going to be very pricey for them also. Such a decision would lead to losses in businesses. So you think that you'll be able to make it in much earlier time to the airport, but in reality, your travel time to the airport sometimes takes longer than that, and there are possibilities that you are going to be missing your flight. So it is necessary that we take a realistic view of how much time it takes for us to accomplish a particular task, and not just go have an overconfidence or an inflated thinking and feeling about our own capability of delivering certain things in the much earlier time. That's all on Mudgal's Musings this week. Thanks for watching this video. Like it if you like it, and do share the video among your friends and acquaintances, just in case they might also be interested in watching videos like this. Till I see you next time, have a wonderful time ahead. Do take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.